All right, everybody, I'm here. I'm just getting the last few things turned on. This is the sights and sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures. We got a lot to talk about tonight. There's a lot going on. There's actually some smaller protests going on in LA and also in Portland. We've got a few live videos. We also have a tropical storm that's going to, looks like now, become a major hurricane near Jamaica. Not sure exactly where it's going to go after that. So we're going to be doing a deep dive. That's Tropical Storm Melissa, also tonight on the show with a deep dive. And I'm also going to cover all of the different weather anomalies and different things that are out there. We are currently watching a tropical storm out in the excuse me, it's in the Caribbean, and I do have I can kind of show you guys where it is. Here we go. That's with the radar overlay. I don't know why the radar quit working. Oh, there, it's trying. Anyway, you can see there the storm is down here, a little lopsided right now, but it's going to form. Notice a Cat 4. They've got this thing now strengthening to a Cat 4. So on the opposite corner over there, I've got a rotating batch of photographs, images, graphics, and tables and everything for you guys to look at. It's all the latest information on the storm right there in the upper right hand corner for you guys to look at. But I am going to be going through it all at least once tonight as well. Looking to do a standard show tonight, maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. We'll see how it goes. Let's see what else is going on. Let me get the chat room up. Yeah, I can't believe we're already back to protesting here again. All right, we're going to talk about the hurricane first, the tropical storm. Yeah, it should be an interesting night. We'll see what happens. All the stuff above me here, that's all live, and at least it all is purported to be live. They're all on channels that I think I can trust, including Portland Andy up there. I like Portland Andy quite a bit. You guys make sure you give him a sub and a like and all that. I'm doing good, Victor. How are you? Hey, Heath, what's up? Heath, I'm starting to already put stuff in the trunk that I don't want to forget. I haven't even taken them out of the pack yet, but I ordered, this is the last thing I think I need to work on my car. When I crawled underneath the front and I looked at the fog lights under the front, the driving lights, the backs were broken on them, and the sockets were, at least one of them is missing. So I ordered the sockets. I don't want to rig anything. I want everything to be nicely done. So these are the sockets. I got the bulbs that go in these, and I got the new housings, and then these will just barrel connect, and I've got all that stuff too. Barrel connect to the wires. I haven't decided if I'm going to wire up my switch panel and put it on that, or if I'm going to just wire it up to the car system. I haven't decided yet. But that's what that is. Rather than rig these, I just bought 2 new ones, and that way they'll seal, because they're going to be brand new housings, brand new bulb, brand new thing. Boom. It should be good. And then my car will now have low and high beam LEDs, white. It'll have yellow driving light LEDs, and it's going to have the white and or amber fog scene lights that I'm putting in the front there, that also double as warning lights if I need them to. So those are really cool. All that's getting installed. We're going to take the bumper off. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, so that's what that is. These are got to go in the car, so I make sure I don't forget them. The other thing I bought today from Amazon, $23 or $22, I believe it was. This was my big expense for the week. Looks like some kind of bomb or something. No, what it is it's a battery, and I'm charging it right now. You can see that the little display tells you what my battery level is at, and it's got 4 of the large USB-A's, I think they are, and it's got a USB it's got a USB-C, and it's got the old USB mini. So it's got all different kinds of stuff. It's a 38 milliamp hour battery, and so for the price it was really good. I should be able to plug my phone into something like this and stay live for like 10 or 12 hours. That's what this is for. I've got a big battery that has a handle on it. It's about this big. It also has all these different connectors, and it has the 12 volt connector too, the barrel connector. That one's in my car right now. It works great, and I've got that one. But like, let's say I want to go shoot something at a picnic table or something, and I need to take my 2 small lights with me. Well, these will power those lights too. They'll power all of my LED lights. They'll power my ring light back there. They'll power the 2 small lights up here, the scene lights up here, the stage lights, whatever you want to call them. It will power a number of my different lights. So now I have 2 different batteries, and each of those batteries will charge any phone, tablet device, and it'll also allow you to use phone, tablet device live while it's being charged. These batteries charge things really well. And then, it also can be used for lighting, or anything that's USB for that matter. Most things now you can buy USB fans. Like if I'm having a hard time with one of my radios staying cool or something, no problem. Just buy it. I've got a little fan. Actually, I've already got one. Plugs right into USB. Little fan. So it's really cool because everything's going USB, and you can now buy these USB batteries pretty cheap. This one comes in 8 colors. Of course, I chose red. Everything I do is red. I've got red 2-way radios. I've got red everything because that's my favorite color. So anyway, I like it. I'm charging it up now. It was at 50. It's now at 55. And so there you go. That's what I got there. All right. Let's... now, as far as... let's go back and talk about the storm, which is another thing. If you're in a hurricane area or a tornado area or something else, these are a must-have. I don't mean to sound like a salesperson, but they're only 20 or 30 bucks. You should get a big one of these. Buy one of the bigger ones that's like 3,500 milliamps, 3,000 milliamps. Don't necessarily get the one that's just like a little teeny thin thing that might charge just 1 or 2 phones. This thing here, I can charge 4 phones at one time, and I can probably do that twice with this battery. So that's substantial. And then my big one out there is 4 times the power that this one has. So really a cool thing to have. Everybody should have a battery, a spare battery, especially if you travel. Look it up, but like Rick just said, I believe the 38 milliamp will keep you under the TSA. You got to make sure what you're buying is compliant if you fly. And I only charge these when I'm in the room. It's kind of a weird thing with me. These big batteries, they've been blowing up and shit. So I've got to the point now where I don't leave any of my stuff charging when I'm not here. I only charge it while I'm here in the room. And then when I'm leaving, I unplug everything and I'll plug it back in later. I've gotten weird about leaving a bunch of shit charging when I'm not home. I'm afraid it's going to burst into flames and take everything I own. Yeah, let me find it. Hold on, guys. Now, I want to admit I have not had a chance to stress test this thing or even operationally test this thing. So that being said, you should know that that this is not necessarily an endorsement, but I'll show you the one I got, and then you guys can take it from there. Okay, here we go. I found out where to get the link now. There we go. All right, yeah, there's the thing there. There's what it looks like. Comes in all the different colors, and here's the link. $26.55. Not a bad price, guys. Not a bad price, and that's. I don't believe they charged me tax on that, and of course, no shipping. I'm a Prime member. But yeah, it comes in all different colors and sizes. These things are nice to have. Now, you may not need one quite this big. You might want to get a $12 one because it's just you. You've got one phone, and you just want it in case there's a tornado or something. You could probably get by with a $12 one or a $10 one, a little thin one, maybe. You could even Velcro it to the back of your phone. I've seen people do that. But I opted for the larger one, which is only $10, $12 more. You get 3 or 4 times the capacity and 3 or 4 times of the number of plugs. But these things are something, when you get them, you got them. And now you've got battery power. Anytime you need it, you got battery power. And I think that's important, no matter where you live. Earthquakes, tornadoes, we all... Remember what I told you guys, no matter where you live in the country, your chance of dying from Mother Nature is about the same. Because look at Kansas, they get nothing in Kansas except tornadoes. But those tornadoes are really bad. No matter where you live. Florida, we don't get big tornadoes. We don't get snowstorms. We don't get ice storms. We don't get big earthquakes. But we get these hurricanes that come through here and rip the place up and kill 150 people. So, and no matter where you go to the Northeast, you split it down. The Northeast has some earthquake potential. They have some tornado potential, some hurricane potential, and you kind of split it down. You go to Buffalo. Buffalo's not going to get a hurricane. Buffalo's not going to get a big tornado. They could get 12 feet of snow and a bunch of people could die. So, no matter where you live in the country, you have almost an equal chance of getting severe weather or an earth, a Mother Nature, whatever you want to call it, killing you, whether it's through an earthquake, a volcano, whether it's whatever. You've got an equal chance just about anywhere in the country. Now, I'm not going world, I'm talking country, but in the contiguous 48 states, the chance of dying by Mother Nature's hand is almost the same in every state. Now, you can find different surveys that put different states above others. I'm speaking in very general terms here. But if you add all hazards, as they call it, all hazards, okay, you're definitely more likely. No matter where you're at, you're just as likely, and that's the bottom line. So, yeah, I've got a huge one. I should go get that. I think I've showed you guys. It's gray. It's about this big. It looks like a little lunchbox is what it looks like. Victor, that's a good idea, but you have to remember something, and this is something people never think about. So here goes the deep dive. Okay, you ready? If you're pedaling the bicycle to run the battery charger to charge the battery, we have to actually get a lot more food for you. You're going to need a lot more calorie intake because you're the one making the electricity. It would probably be more economical at a time when food's critical. There may be better ways to do it. You're obviously going to be better off with some other way to make that without you having to burn the calories to make it. If we're almost out of food and we're down to our last 12 cans, I don't want to use it all up because you're having to pedal out all the electricity that we need. So that's kind of a thing that a lot of people don't think about. When you work hard, you're going to eat 2 or 3 times as much. When you're not doing anything and you're just laying around, you can ration food out for weeks. But it's not a bad idea, Victor. I mean, if you've got plenty of food, then that's a great idea to make electricity. Um, yeah, freaking melanoma. I am so sick of cancer. AI is going to kick cancer's ass, guys. I know everybody's worried about AI. Well, long before it kills us all, it's going to cure cancer. It's going to cure dementia. It's working on this shit right now. They're sequencing this shit right now with AI. Just give it some time. AI is growing exponentially every 6 to 8 months. This is not going to take that long for AI to cure cancer. They're going to cure everything. They say the first person to live to be 150 years old is already alive. So, and I think it's actually going to be more than that. Remember, all the myths about overpopulation are bullshit. That the population in most of the world is stagnant or in reduction right now. And in about 5 or 7 or 8 more years, Africa will reach equilibrium. And even South America right now is at equilibrium on population growth. And once Africa reaches equilibrium, we will not be creating enough humans to carry on our race. And eventually children will be more of a novelty. There won't be quite as many of them around. We won't need all these damn school buses. But this is an eventuality of a developing world. We're going to be moving into the first order world here, where we're no longer breeding to make farmers so that we can get crops off the fields anymore. We got machines that do everything now, and we don't need to create a bunch of kids. Most people won't even want kids in the future, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The population will continue from this point forward. It will continue to decline. So increasing the lifespan is not necessarily a bad thing. I think up till now we almost need, it sounds terrible to say this, but cancer is one of the big things that's kept our population in check. Major illnesses, COVID-19, all these different things have served over the years to keep our population in check. But the truth is, we're reaching equilibrium. And even as we cure all of these big diseases like cancer, and we cure things like dementia, and people are living to be 130, 140, 150 years old because we've cured everything, there'll be no need to create children. And people will live their lives, and they'll create, and it'll be wonderful lives. And I think it's neat. I think it's the natural development of a type 0 turning to type 1 society, and that's where we're at right now. And we've reached a point where we're no longer an agricultural society. The machines do most of the harvesting. And we're starting to grow food in labs now, and we're only years away from replication. We're going to be able to replicate food soon. Within my lifetime, I hope to be able to walk up to a box and say pot roast, and it makes pot roast. I think it's possible. Now, transporting living matter, that may never happen. That was something because Gene Roddenberry couldn't pay for the special effects to land on the planet, so they came up with the transporter. It was a gimmick to save money. And I don't know if we're ever going to... It's a neat science, isn't it? But I don't know if we're ever going to get there. But food replication, that is a lot closer than you guys think. And with AI working the problem right now, it's not going to be long before a device can begin to dispense food of different types by using simple matter. It's coming, I'm telling you. Yeah, that's true, yes, but cancer is a disease process for the elderly, but we can stop it. We can stop it. We can make that something you're not going to die of today. That's all. And something else will eventually get you. Everyone will eventually wither away and die. And you notice other people age very differently. Remember the Golden Girls on TV? You know, the one that played the mother, the old woman, was the youngest one of the four? Everybody ages at a different rate, wildly different rates. And so it will be possible that some people will live to be 170 years old once we get to the point that there is no cancer. There, you know, all infection is wiped out. We've got dementia, no Alzheimer's, no problem. We got a pill for that. And it'll get to the point where all these reasons to die, basically, like you mentioned, will not be there. And you'll be able to live until you're done, basically, until you literally wither away. And then, of course, I do believe in the future, planned euthanasia, of course, will be good in the future. That's something that we always need to work on, is to make sure that our elderly has the right to choose their time. And that's so important. Yes, absolutely, Canna. And about half of that I'm bad for. But yeah, no, I agree. And hey, part of people living to be that age, they're going to have to take care of themselves. They're going to have to want to live that long. They're not going to be able to drink beer for 70 years and live another 25 or 50. It's not going to happen. If they want to do it, they're going to have to live the lifestyle. They're going to have to be healthy going into their 70s. And that way, and then at that point, we will do all these new therapies and everything, and we would be able to cure anything that happens. But I completely agree. People like me that have just trashed my body my whole life, I eat fatty foods, I do whatever I want. I was a firefighter, I was blown up, I fell off of ladders, I've done crazy shit in my life, I've fell down ravines, so it's one of those things where I haven't taken real good care of my body. So even if they could cure everything right now, just about everything right now, I still don't think I would be able to quite live that long, because I don't think I'm aging that well. My arthritis is already getting bad. My back is trashed from that explosion in '92. There's just so many things going on with me right now that I don't think I'm a candidate for that long life thing. But yeah, but people that take care of themselves, people that age well, the first person to live to be 150 is probably already alive. Stem cells are big, but I'm telling you, the stuff AI is going to be doing is going to make stem cells look like simple shit. The body can regenerate, and that's going to be a lot of the healing process. Yeah, I've never heard of GLPs. Yeah, I mean, we've got Hope Hospice down here. They're great. When my father was in there with, and he was going through the process, he finally told us he had to go. He says, I want to go. I'm done. He kept telling me, I'm done. To this day, that term kind of spooks me. He looked me right in the eye and he goes, I'm done. Make it happen. And I went and told the lady, I said, he needs to go. He needs to pass. I said, this is terrible. He's rotten inside and he's in so much pain. I said, just make him go. And they put him on a morphine pump and they pushed this other medicine on him. And she said, this will take his consciousness away forever. And I'm like, okay, that's what he wants. It's a terrible thing when families have to go through this. But the fact that we can put our loved ones out of misery. We can't just straight up put them down. But I was able to, every time he got in pain, I hit that morphine pump. They put that medicine on him. And you could only hit it one time every 40 minutes or whatever. But we were hitting him with that, and he had this other medicine in him, and he was completely out. He just laid there until his body quit later that night. So we do kind of have it, but they can't. They gotta play the game. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. I mean, I was able to get it for my dad. I mean, they were able to do what we had to do to get to at least get his consciousness to be gone. You know, his body may catch up later, but it was terrible. Yes. Yeah, my dad was in a lot of pain. He didn't talk about it. My dad didn't say anything about it. He was ate up with cancer inside. By the time they figured out what was wrong with him, it had already progressed to his brain, his lungs, his liver. Where else? My God, it was all. He was ate up with it. And my dad didn't like going to doctors, and I think he got the diagnosis a few years earlier and just didn't say anything. I know my dad. He probably just wanted to live it out and not have his family worried about him and shit. And he was probably already too far along. I don't know. I don't know. Yes. Yes. When he passed that night, he was not in any pain. His consciousness was already gone. My mom was holding one hand and I was holding the other. Yeah. Well, and now my mom's in a facility now, and we're trying to get her back out. It's getting a little better every day, but anyway, yeah, what a time. What a time we live in. All right, so I'm going to be, as you guys know, a programming note, and then we'll get back into the hurricane for a few minutes. A little programming note. I'm going to Georgia on the 31st. The only thing that will change that is if this storm makes a run at Florida. If this storm makes a run at Florida, I will be postponing that trip, Heath. That's the only thing that will do it, buddy. I have to watch this storm. I'm putting it in the 10 percentile right now. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's gonna take off over Jamaica, and it's going to head towards Bermuda post haste. But if it does make a run at South Florida or the East Coast, I'm going to have to be in the studio here. The sights and sounds of Earth. So what I'm going to do is I'm leaving on the 31st. There will be no show Halloween night. I may go live and let you guys know I'm up there. I may go live for a few minutes. Just, hey guys, I'm here. Let everybody know I'm here. Talk about what's going on up there, the weather and everything. Maybe an hour at the most. I'll see what's going on, see how much internet I have. I have to get up there and turn the internet on. And it's a white box, and it's a pain in the ass. But once I get it all hooked up and get the antennas and everything all going, I'll check in with you guys. Saturday, November 1st. I'm going to be at the Ham Fest, the Stone Mountain Ham Fest, northeast of Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a big ham fest. I plan to buy an HF rig. I think Heath's going to buy an HF rig. They say the two best days you'll ever have in your life is the day you buy your HF rig and the day you sell your HF rig. I don't necessarily agree with that. No, actually, that they're talking about boats. But anyway, it was a funny joke. The point is I'm buying a rig, he's buying a rig, and then we're gonna spend some time over the next week doing POTA and setting up our stuff at different parks. And I'm gonna be doing as much of it live as I can. The problem is there's not much cell service up there, so we're gonna go park to park to park, or if he's not with me, I'll be going park to park to park. And if there's cell service, I'm gonna go live. And I'll stay on for a while, and I'll work the park, and I'll talk to you guys, and it'll be fun. It'll be a different week. I cannot do the sights and sounds of Earth from up there. I'm just being honest. I can't. I don't have the bandwidth. It's not available. I can still come on. I'm going to have the computer. If I get the internet working pretty good, I'll be able to come on. I can show one video maybe at a time. I have to be real careful with bandwidth. So basically what I'm talking about is from the 31st through the 10th of November, there will not be this show, The Sights and Sounds of Earth, on a regular basis. Now, like I said, I'm going to try to pop in some nights. I'm going to do some different things. I'm going to be going on a lot during the day. I'm going to be going on in the evenings. I may even go out in the middle of the night and go up to the dam and see what stars we can see. I've got a lot of stuff planned for up there, but it's not this show. I can't do this show up there. So I'm just letting you guys know. All right. Yeah. Well, Mom's doing a little better. She, as you guys know, she had a stroke. She's doing better. She's starting, the left side was completely out. And now it's getting to where she can move everything, and she's starting to do things with her left hand a little bit and stuff. So we're getting it back. And we're hoping to have her home in a couple of months at the most. She goes, does three therapies a day. They work with her. They're very good there at this place we've got her at. Yes, I can try to do that. I won't know exactly what days I'm going to go live, but I could probably do something like that. I don't. It's yeah, okay. Let me see if I can do that. I'll try to schedule up and put out notifications when I'm going to be live. I'll try my best. Because I know the notification bell, I know a lot of you have it turned on, and I know it doesn't work sometimes. I know that. So hopefully, I don't know what that guy's showing on his phone. Looks like a bat or something. Anyway, yeah, I don't know how many live drives I can do. I am definitely going to do a long-ass live drive on the way up. I'm leaving at 4 a.m. in the morning on Halloween Day, on Friday. And I'm driving straight through from 4 a.m. to about 2 p.m. And I'll be arriving at my cabin at about 2 p.m. So what I plan to do is late morning, about 10 or 11 o'clock, I'll go live, and I'll stay live for a while. And I plan to be live when I go through downtown Atlanta. That's always a fun ride through there. Oh, I had that pulled up. Let me see if it's still over here. Yeah. Silver spot price tonight is 48.72. It's still off $4.74 from its high. But it's not falling anymore. It has stabilized. That's silver spot price, 48.72 US dollars. It's down 8 on the week, down 4 on the day. That sucks. That really, I'm getting ready to cash in about, not a lot, but I'm going to cash in a few coins, and I was really hoping it would stay up as high as I could get it to stay up. Yeah, Canna Club, the hard part you don't realize is learning how to stand up, how to sit down, how to guide with arms and hold with grips, and use the handles properly, and use what this angle works because this arm's the weak arm. You know, there's so much to that. You don't realize it until part of your body is not functioning, and then all of a sudden strategy becomes very important. All right. Yeah, I know copper and of course silver too is a big one for for AI, for the chips and everything. And of course, they're putting up a lot of solar too, and solar is all silver. That's why the price is going up. I think is literally raw demand. You know, we used to wear all this silver, and now we're going to be using it all. I want you to think about that. All this silver that used to be coins and people's collections and silverware. Do you guys realize my buddy that does coins? I'm his producer for his weekend shows. It's called Park Shore Coin and Jewelry. Great guy, Scott Heiligman. He buys and sells precious metals and coins and all that kind of stuff. He was telling he one of the stories he tells a lot, and him and I've talked about it a lot. He takes in silver, like your great grandma's silverware, you know, and it's got the knives and the forks and the spoons, and it's in that really nice antique box with the felt inside and everything, and you've kept it so nice over the years. You bring that in and you sell it to him, he's going to give you weight price for it, which means the knives aren't worth much because they're full of concrete inside. And any big serving spoons are not going to be worth that much. But most of the rest of the silverware, or at least the forks and spoons for sure, are all sterling, which is what, 90%, I believe. And so he takes those in and he just dumps them in a bag. They go to the smelt. I mean, nobody buys silverware anymore. And if you buy it, you're going to be rich, and you're going to buy it with your logo on it or with your style or whatever. There's literally zero market for used silverware, for collector's silverware, for really nice silverware. So that silverware sat under your bed for 40, 50 years. And the truth is, it's only worth the silver price, is all it's worth. But you could take it in and get full silver price for it. He would give you fairly what it's worth, you know, exactly down to that, not quite, almost down to the half ounce of what's actually there, based on what he knows about the concrete and the knives and things like that. But he gets pretty close, and he'll give you a good price for it, and he just sends it off to the smelter and they melt it down. Sterling is just not 100%. It's like 90%. It was a way to strengthen the metal and make it stronger, by adding another alloy to the silver. Yeah. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. You know, precious metals, I think, are going to continue to go up, at least right now, because of just because of the uncertainty that there is out there right now. Boy, I'm yawning already. What the hell? All right. All right, give me just 1 second here. Oh boy, okay, here we go. Government shutdown has entered its 4th week. The Republicans continue to offer a clear CR, meaning that there's no changes. It's just what we already had. It's a clean CR, no shenanigans. The Democrats, on the other hand, they're playing the shenanigans. They're not going to clear this until something is done. They're going to, and everybody's telling them, pass the clear CR, get the government open, send out the paychecks, and then we'll sit down and we'll talk. They won't do it. They're being absolute assholes. This is just stretched on. It's now a record-breaking shutdown. and it's been going on for way, way too long. 800,000 employees face missing a payday. They will eventually get the money. But Trump is saying for every day that this remains closed, the Schumer shutdown, for every day that Chuck Schumer and the Senate keep this closed, he's going to continue laying off federal workers. He's going to tell them, just don't come back. You talking about me? I need some sleep. Yeah, I need some sleep. I'm tired. I'm pretty tired tonight. It's not a Parkinson's shake. It's not a seizure. It's restless leg syndrome. When I get tired like I am tonight, my right leg continuously bounces. It'll do it the entire show. You guys don't really notice it unless I go to the full studio, which I really haven't gone to because half the studio, as you can see, is shut down, and the table's a mess because I'm getting ready for my trip. But this leg right here, it continues to do this the entire time I'm on the air. It doesn't stop when I'm at work. It doesn't stop at work. It continues to do it the entire time I'm on the air. It's called restless leg syndrome. I went to the doctor back in probably about 86, 87. I was a lieutenant at the fire station. I went to the doctor and I said, look, this leg is just constantly going. And when I'm going to a call, even, and the siren's going and everything's blaring, my foot is mashed on the gas pedal, and the whole time it's on the gas pedal, I have to press down to make sure that it stays all the way down. Hey, George, thanks for joining, man. Appreciate it. Welcome aboard the Starship. Thanks for joining the crew. So it's something I've had, and I went to a doctor, and I said, look, doc, this restless leg is killing me. What can we do? He goes, well, there's a medicine. He goes, it might make you a little tired. Might make you a lot tired. I don't know. But there's a medicine that will give you relief for restless leg syndrome. I said, and this was 1996 or something. This was like literally 30 years ago. He gives me these little pills. They look like little nitro pills. They were so small. And he said, when you get home, he says, take 2 of these and gauge if it's enough, if it works. He goes, I gave you a smaller prescription. He goes, take 2 of them and see if that completely wipes it out for the evening. And then tomorrow, take 1 when you go to work and see if it helps it work. And I said, oh, okay. So I went home. I stopped by and I got Taco Bell, which is not unusual for me. And I go home. And I take these 2 pills and I feed my cat Queezer, and I do a couple things around the house, and I go and I sit down. It had been about 15 minutes since I took that pill, the 2 pills. I sat down, I start to eat the taco. I'm eating the taco, I'm eating the taco. I wake up 14 hours later laying face down on the ground with a ground up taco still in my right hand. That medication ain't gonna work. Jesus God, it almost killed me. I woke up feeling like I'd been run over by a bus. And I'm like, what's this gooey shit all over my hand? I had taco sauce because the tray I had in my lap ended up going all down my left leg, and it was all over the carpet. And I was like, oh my, I've never passed out in the middle of a meal before. This was really cool. And I laid there. I lived alone, so I laid there with the cat sitting next to me for probably 14, 15 hours. I wake up, it's like 10 o'clock the next morning. And I'm late for work. People wondering where the hell I'm at. Yeah. So, yeah. But that's restless leg syndrome. Anyway. I'm not sure that both these above me, as well as the 2 above that, are all coming up as live protesting right now. These are all on sites like mine that look for live programming. So I'm pretty sure these are live. Yeah, my great grandfather had Parkinson's, but I don't. It has nothing to do with that. This is just it's restless leg syndrome, RLS. Um, it's very common. It sucks, and you know when it hits me the worst is when I'm on the air, when I'm live, because I'm nervous. The whole time. If you don't feel a little nerves when you're live on the air, then you're not. Then it's not for you. You should always feel right on the edge of being nervous when you're broadcasting. And I know when I do the show at work, we'll start the show and my legs will both be going 100 miles an hour. And Kat, my call screener, she's like, "Wow, you're going tonight." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." I can't help it. I've been producing those radio shows for 14 years and I still sit there nervous as hell when we go on the air. But that's a good thing. I think it's a healthy thing. When you get to the point where you don't feel any consequence anymore for what you're doing, I think that's when you start running into trouble. I like being just a little bit nervous every day about it. It's important. Let's see here. Hey, Faithful, welcome in. Yeah, Red, I don't know. The left is doing something that I don't understand right now. They're doubling down on everything that didn't work. They're literally doubling down on everything that didn't work. I don't know what to tell you. They took a poll the other day to see who the heir apparent was for the Democratic presidential nominee for 2028 or whatever. And they came up with Kamala Harris. That's who they decided that's who their heir apparent is Kamala Harris. Now there's going to be a primary, of course, and you're going to have people like Douche Newsom and Ding Dong Prickster and all these different people in there. But that she right now is the heir apparent. Miss 107 Days, The Big Loser. The one that picked the birthday clown as a vice president. Yeah, that one. They are self-destructing. They are. I've never seen anything like it. Quinnipiac, every time Quinnipiac runs the numbers, they come up lower and lower. They're breaking records every time. I think the left's off their gourd. Because now's when they should be saying, look, LGBTQIA2S plus crowd, tone it down. We got to win the center back or we're not going to win anything ever again. You guys need to tone it down a little bit. We still support you. We still love you guys and all this stuff. But you got to tone it down. But they're not doing that. They're doubling down is what they're doing. They're fighting to keep puberty blockers in major hospitals for 15-year-olds. They're pushing to have more trans pride parades with assless chaps. I mean, all the stuff they're pushing for is all the stuff they really need to be saying, look, we support you guys. We still want you to do it, but y'all need to take a chill because we've lost our base and we've lost the middle, which means that all we got left is the crazy white liberal women with blue hair, okay, and the LGBTQIA2S plus crowd. That's all we got left. That's literally all they got left. And instead of trying to figure out how are we going to win men back, well, the first thing, if you want to win men back, men left that party in droves. Do you want to know how you get men back? Right? Stop alienating them. Stop sitting around all day talking about how everything's man's fault. Everything's man's fault. I got news for you. I hate to sound sexist, okay? But men been picking up the weight for a while. We've been doing a lot. So have women. Why do we have to have this freaking division? I don't understand it. I don't get it. But it's because that's the way they do everything. Everything has to divide and conquer. Everything it has to, you're either toe the line or you're a literal Nazi, basically. And I think what they really need to do is tell their special interest people, Chill out for a while, guys. Chill. Let's just ease out for a minute. Let's go back over here and let's start talking faith and truth and whatever we got to talk. But see, that's another problem they have. The country has lurched towards the Bible and lurched towards the left, which is a good thing, I think, for this country right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Mama Bleeper. The ravishing Miss Mom Bleep. What you doing, kitty? You just passing through? She's so sweet. She's doing better every day, guys. And that cat was almost dead. I take pride in this one. I nursed another one back from the brink. Right from the cliff. Anyway, yeah, the left is going to have to, they're going to have to put crazy on hold. And I don't mean to disrespect LGBTQ or disrespect the crazy blue-haired liberal white women. But I'm sorry, it's a fact. You guys, they are catering to your two special interest groups, and because of that, they've lost everybody else. They've lost everybody else. They're even starting to lose a certain percentage of Muslims. You know why? Because Muslims don't like the whole gay thing. When I see gays for Hamas, I laugh my ass off. I'm like, if the gays for Hamas went over there to Palestine, they would be shot off a roof onto the ground. That's what they do over there to gay people. They do the L, the G, the B, the T, the Q, the I, the 2, the S, the plus. They'll do it all. If you do any of that shit over there, they fire you off a roof. No bullshit. Gays for Hamas. When I see stuff like that, I'm like, those people, I don't care that they're gay. The fact that they're stupid is a problem. What in the hell are you thinking? Gays for Hamas? That's like chickens for the fox. What are we doing? Gravedigger, I used to think that. I still kind of believe there should be separation between church and state. But I also believe that that's gone too far. I think that there needs to still be some that religion does not need to be purposely excluded from everything we do. Saying a prayer before a high school football game, for instance, having the 10 Commandments in a school. I mean, there's some things that really don't hurt that big a deal. I'm not saying we should stand in public schools and give Bible lessons, okay? But we've gone way too far. And taking God out of everything is why we've ended up where we're at right now with this godless party on the left. They're godless. They're rudderless. They're couthless. And that's why I believe they've lost their way. And I'm not a big religious person. I don't go to church and all this. But I'm starting to really see the advantage of Christianity. I think that it really helps a lot of people to live life a better way, a kinder way, a way of forgiveness, and a way of prosperity and positivity. The left is all negative. Everything they do is negative. It's name calling. It's rock throwing. You know that someone who's on the far left is 7 times more likely to have clinical depression than someone that's on the far right. And there's actually numbers to show that. People on the left, they're unhappy. They don't like the planet. They don't like anything that we do. They don't like the country. They don't like the flag. They don't like the president. They don't like anything. And they're never going to like it because they want it fundamentally changed. They want communism. Why? Because they've been taught in school that communism fixes all the problems. Even though communism has actually been tried all over the world for thousands of years and it's never worked. Socialism, communism has never worked anywhere it's ever been tried, but yet the left believes if we just try it one more time, this time it'll work. I'm sure this time it'll be okay. Yes, that's correct, Legend. The biggest reason for the separation of church and state was to prevent the church and the state from commingling power. And you're right. And so it really did not have a lot to do with religious teachings in schools. In fact, local schools taught local public schools taught Bible study up until probably 50 years ago. So this is not that, it's not a foreign concept. I'm not saying we need to go completely back to it, but like a lot, you know what's going on down here in Florida, we've got school choice now. And 100,000 kids next year are going to be starting in Christian schools and Bible schools and schools that have some kind of deity attached to them, and not public schools. We will start seeing a decline over the next few years here in the number of students enrolled in our public schools. Even though our numbers are going up, are the people moving into the state, those numbers are going up. The students enrolling in public schools is actually starting to go down. And the reason is because the public schools suck. And with school choice, now your $9,000 follows your student. If the student wants to go to a vocational school, if the student wants to go to a private high school, if the student wants to go to a private Christian high school, if the student wants to go to a Muslim high school, they can. They can do that, and they take the $9,000 that would have been given to the public school on their behalf, and they can transfer that money from the state of Florida to that private school. And most of these schools are doing it for not much over the price that the state's paying. So in other words, if it's $11,000 plus lunches, and the state's picking up $9,000, suddenly you can afford to put your child in a Christian school. You can afford to put your child even in a non-secular private school, like a charter school or something. There's all kinds of things you can do to get your child away from the indoctrination in the public schools. And then, of course, now with the Charlie Kirk, with his assassination, we now have this movement that has grown exponentially over and over and over and over again, taking in millions of dollars and starting chapters everywhere, in every high school, starting chapters in private schools, starting chapters in home schools. There's actually a chapter here in town, and the chapter is for the homeschool kids, because they still meet once a week, a lot of these homeschool kids. And when they meet, they now have an hour meeting where they do the Turning Point USA stuff. That's amazing to me. And so I think we've reached the turning point. I think we have. I really do. And part of it is getting a lot of these kids out of public schools. And number two is fixing the public schools as well. Yeah, I don't think the public schools need to get into teaching Bible study and things like that. I'm not saying that. That can be done extracurricularly. All I'm saying is we shouldn't sterilize the schools. They should be taught about Christianity and the other religions in school. They're not now. It's not even mentioned. Matter of fact, a lot of the teachers will make the kids believe that the whole church Bible thing is kind of taboo. All right, been on an hour. Numbers are kind of low tonight. I don't know what's going on. It's funny how they're up one night, down the next. It's kind of crazy. I don't feel good tonight, but I'm going to stay on a little bit longer. I want to get back to whoops, I turned on the wrong thing. There we go. Let's get back over to here. This is there's Mike right there. This is Mike's weather page. You guys know I always use Mike's weather page for the latest information. I want to show you guys, here is the latest information on the storm, and I think probably the biggest takeaway from this map right now is probably the fact of how slow of a mover this thing's going to be. This storm is actually going to sit. It's going to sit, and it's going to sit, and it's going to sit. And you can see there that the last M up there is 5 days from now. It's literally 5 days from now. So this is an entire 5-day forecast. And it keeps this storm right out there just south of Jamaica the whole time. It's currently moving west at 1. This thing is stalled. It's just sitting there. And I've always told you there's nothing more dangerous than a stalled storm, because it's unpredictable. You don't know what's going to happen or what direction it's going to take off in. All right, so currently 50-mile-an-hour winds. It's expected to strengthen in about 3 days. On Saturday, it's expected to become a hurricane. And then by Sunday, it's going to be a major hurricane. And it's going to be sitting almost due south of Florida. That's why this becomes a little dicey for us up here, because if you can see that right there's the Keys. This thing's going to be sitting almost due south of Florida. So what's it going to do? Well, I'm going to show you guys some models, but some models take it off this way into Central America. All right. Other ones, there's a few that take it up into the Gulf of Mexico. There's a number of them that are giving it a sharp turn like this, and taking it right out of the area. There's actually a number of these like this. So that's a possibility. That's a bad possibility for Jamaica. That means Jamaica might take a major hurricane hit. But once we get out past 5 days, it's really kind of hard to tell what these storms are going to do. So the best thing we could do, oh my God, I just keep yawning over and over again. I'm sorry, guys. By the time I get to this show, I'm so tired at night. All right, so let's go back to here. Let's run a few models and see what we got here. All right, so here is, this is the GFS. Notice it hangs around, and then boom, it tends to want to eventually pull it out. See, it eventually pulls it out and away from Florida. So that's not a bad scenario. Let's look at the Euro. Here's the Euro. Euro keeps it right there. Euro keeps it right there. Develops it down. Cat 2 storm. Cat 3 storm. Oh my. Oh my. It deepens it down to 939 millibars. 938. Wow. And then see that last frame, it wants to pull it north. So this may end up going right over Jamaica, right over Cuba, and heading out into the open ocean. Is one of the distinct possibilities. Let's look at the Canadian model. And let's run this forward. Look what the Canadian model does. Cat 3. 2 anyway, I'm sorry. Cat 2. Strong 2. 2. And then there, back over west of Jamaica, over Cuba. And not about 100 miles off of Miami. And then it takes it out. Oh, look at that. It alley-oops it into New York. as a Category 3 hurricane. Now, this is just one model. Let's take a look at the model runs. Let's go to Tropical Tidbits. And let's take a look. There's that hook we were talking about. You can see there most of the models believing that it's going to take a hook. Thinking, yeah, going to probably take a hook, I guess. Here's another set of models. These models even more convinced that no matter what happens down here, it will eventually head up off to the northeast. And then finally, our third set of models, here, which brings a Category 2 hurricane into South Naples. However, most of the models take it hard right. This is why I say there's a slight chance I will not be leaving on that trip Friday. We have to wait. I'm going to have to wait and see if this is going to make a run at the Keys or at Miami. Strength, well, this is backed off a little bit from earlier. Earlier, we had five different, five of them up in the Cat 5 range. We've got, I think, 4 or 5 of them up in the Cat 4 range now, maybe. But still, you can see over half the models take it up to a major hurricane, which is Cat 3. So, once we get out about 84, 96 hours, we could be dealing with a major hurricane. All right, and that's there's not a whole lot else to show you. That's the only game in town when it comes to what's going on out there. See, I don't think he's got any. I do have some radars from down there. This is that one I showed you. See if it'll load. Alright, so there's your track. This is going to load the weather data to go with it. You can see there everything's kind of rotating around there. Yeah, when they sit, they get stronger and stronger and stronger, and you never know what's going to happen. It could take off. It could suddenly go off in a different direction. When there's no steering currents, it's just dangerous because it's a storm. And as storms get bigger, they can also start to influence their own course a little bit more. Jobs to be replaced at Amazon is 600,000. I haven't seen that. I'm not sure what that's all about. Yeah. Well, New York has its own hurricane coming. It's called Big Dumb Kami Memdami. They're going to end up electing this idiot. I know they are. They're going to end up electing a communist. And I'm going to tell you what, just like everything else that's happened recently, this is going to be great for the Republican Party. It's going to be bad for New York. It's going to be bad for our overall view of things, but it's going to be very good for the Republican Party because they're going to ruin New York, and it's going to be their fault. And it'll be pretty obvious what happened. Here we go. This is another view here that's not so bad. Kind of gets us in there a little bit. This is made up of a bunch of different kinds of radars, so it's a composite. It's a little weird. And of course, it doesn't work worth a shit either. What a piece of crap. There, it's getting there. It's loading the frames. What a piece of crap. Well, anyway, let's not worry about that. So that's what we have to worry about with that storm. Is it a big deal? No. There's a possibility someone in the Caribbean is going to get a Cat 4. Yes. Chance of it hitting Florida Peninsula directly, probably less than 10%. So I'm not worried too much about it. Let's see here. You know, every generation has had something that was being replaced by something else, and everybody thought it was the end of the world. You know, when they invented the automobile, the guys that raised horses for people to buy, they rose up. They fought those automobiles. They were unsafe. They were dangerous. They were terrible. They said everything they could say about them. They got lawyers. They sued. They did everything because they didn't want those cars because it was going to take away from their horse business. They invented the loom, and next thing you know, all the seamstresses, all these people that had made fabric by hand, they were all fighting it because now they were all going to be out of work, and they were all striking in the streets, and it was crazy. And it was all these people, these girls that had worked these looms and for their whole life, and that's all they know how to do, and it's going to ruin everything. We've had this going on since the beginning of time. I can give you 100 examples. With AI, I'll give you 100 examples if you want them. But the point is we've had these over time where an innovation happens. You know, when the electric light bulb was created, and they started replacing city lights with these light bulbs. The lamplighters, the guys that were paid by the city to go around and oil the lamps every night and light the lamps, actually fought the electric light bulb. They got together and they tried to fight the electric light bulb. Everybody fights when they think that their job's the next one on the chopping block. The truth is, all of our jobs will eventually be replaced. I haven't gotten a voice job in 6 months. I do voicing. I voice all kinds of stuff. I'm sure you've heard me on the radio somewhere and didn't realize it was me. I voiced national commercials and all kinds of stuff. So I'm absolutely sure that I will not get any more voice work, whatever, but I'm okay with that. Because you know what? AI is saving me so much time, and it's helping me with this channel so much, and I wouldn't be able to do half of what I'm doing right now if it wasn't for AI. So I look at AI as being a positive thing, even though it's already taken one of my jobs, and it may eventually take another one of my jobs at some point. But hey, it's okay. I will adapt. I just go and I find a better job, a different job, and that's what we've always had to do over the course of time with new innovations. We don't want to ever stifle innovation. You don't want to ever stifle innovation so that we can keep people working jobs that are not as efficient. That just doesn't make any sense. What makes sense is to train these people to do other jobs. It's not that big a deal anymore. Half the jobs out there require very little training anymore. You just go in, you press the button, it's not a big deal. And so, whatever. I just think that yes, it's a good time to learn how to work on robots. That's a fact. If you want to get into that kind of work, get into programming, computers, anything like that would be a good field to get into right now. The cotton gin, there's another one. He never got paid his copyright. No, I know. Um, there you go. Well, Faithful, at least you can say you had something to do with the cotton gin. But anyway, yeah, I honestly think that we're going to be fine. We just have to adapt. If your job becomes one that's being eliminated, go find a better job. We just have to adapt. That's all. Um, Heath, I have no opinion. I haven't been studying that. I really haven't been studying that. I don't know anything about it. I mean, you don't want me to lie to you and just bullshit, right? I mean, I'm going to tell you, I don't know. It's not something we've covered much on the other show, and it's not something that I've even read into. I know there's that money he gave to Argentina, and I'm not happy about that, but I also don't know all the bottom line. I don't know what's going on. Trump's made a lot of really good decisions, and he's made a few bad ones. So I tend to lean on the side of maybe this is a good decision, and I just don't understand it. He's got an angle. This guy's he's better than a carpenter. He's always got an angle. I think that's what makes him special. Is he's playing 4D chess, and we're only seeing the first two pieces. So it's very hard to know what he's doing, and it's also very hard to judge at this point whether it's going to be successful or not. Yeah, I don't think Trump's necessarily anti-farmer. Um, I know some people believe that, but I haven't seen things that lead me to believe that he is necessarily anti-farmer. He's a businessman. He's going to make decisions that are best for the country. He doesn't make decisions based on individuals or anything like that. I know that there's a lot of help for farmers coming in different ways. I know there's more talk about this whole taxing farms and all that kind of stuff when people die. That's all being worked on. There's a lot of things like that. And I don't know, we have to see how these international deals play out. Generally speaking, tariffs should help farmers. So we have to see if that's what happens. I hope he's pro-farmer. I'd always like to see him more pro-farmer. But I also don't know of anything specific where he's really anti-farmer, if you know what I mean. We got to let these tariffs play out before we know what's going to happen. Tariffs generally help farmers because we're tariffing any of that stuff that's coming in. So if they're tariffing the country that's, let's say the guy grows peppers, okay, and they're importing peppers that look just as good and just as nice as his, except now we've put a 20% tariff on that country because they've got a 20% tariff on us. And next thing you know, our farmer can now compete because his peppers are now cheaper because he doesn't have that 20% tax on there coming in. And that's where I've always been under the understanding that tariffs help farmers, not hurt them. Yeah, like I said, I don't know about all that. I really don't. I guess I should read up on it. I don't know. Like I said, it's not something we've tackled, and I really haven't read up on it. But I guess I need to. All right. So what else do we got going on, guys? We did the storm. We did all that. We talked about these protests that are going on. It looks like they're winding down. I see about 10 people, maybe at the most. You guys can let me know if you see anything there. But it looks like it's starting to wind down. Let me go see if I can pull up something real quick to cover up that one with. Let's see, where am I at here? Protests in Bolivia. And there's protests everywhere. Alright, let me see if I can stick this in there. Alright, I believe those are all live now again. But it looks like 3 or 4 loudmouths and a bunch of cops. I can't really tell what's going on. Alright, I'm going to check the chat room. What else do you guys have? Anything else you want to mention real quick? Kind of a cool happening here. Something exploded on the far side of the sun yesterday. The blast produced an exceptionally fast and potent coronal mass ejection, shown here in an animation from the Solar and Heliospheric Observatory, also known as the SHOHO. And hold on, I'm going to show it to you. Look at this. This is amazing. This explosion was on the far side of the sun. The disk in the middle is the sun. It's just they cover it over so it doesn't mess the lens up. But that explosion was on the far side of the sun. Had that been directed at us, it would have been a big one. It would not have been a Carrington event or anything, but it would have been a fairly significant event for us. But yeah, look at that explosion. Absolutely amazing. That again captured by the SHOHO spacecraft. And by the way, it's called a spacecraft. Anybody know why it's called a spacecraft and not a satellite? It's because it's orbiting the sun. It's not orbiting the Earth. The SHOHO satellites are spacecraft. They're actually out in space. They're not circling the planet. The United States Space Force reported a Type 2 radio emissions from the CME with a high velocity drift rate. Only a handful of CMEs in the space age have moved significantly faster, such as the Great CME of August 1972, which was an X-flare, X8. The CME hit Earth, it would almost certainly experience a strong geomagnetic storm. Instead, it's going to hit Venus. This was aiming right at Venus. Venus does not have an internally generated global magnetic field to protect it, so the impact will actually strike and erode some of the gas from the planet's cloud tops. Venus, Venus though has a crushingly thick atmosphere, and it's not expected to really be damaged much by the impact. This was a big sunspot that moved around, and now it's blown up on the other side of the sun. Well, the planet's magnetosphere is basically it's a sphere of magnetism that's created by the iron core, and it helps protect us. We have like a big deflector shield, and it's kind of the biggest part of it is the ionosphere, and it actually protects us from solar rays, coronal mass ejections, and it even it protects us from all kinds of inbound energy. And then if it's not energy, if it's an asteroid or something, then our atmosphere protects us at that point and burns up whatever it is on the way in. Our planet is amazing how it protects us from so many things. I mean, we have such an amazingly fatal environment right outside our planet's atmosphere. It's not just the fact that it's a vacuum and there's no air, but there's always shit flying around and energy that'll cook you, and it's just it's a nasty place up there. Yeah, because I certainly don't want that fake beef. Trey Rado ate one of those fake Burger King burgers on the air. He said it wasn't that good. He said it's like a hamburger with. He said everything's there except it's like you don't. There's no meat. He goes even though it's like it's just terrible. Anyway, notice they didn't catch on. Those better than beef, whatever they call it, bullshit, plant-based beef. Because first of all, they're cooking them on the same grill, so it's going to have hamburger grease on it. Number two, and you can't get around this, it takes a lot of energy to make those burgers, and it takes a lot of plant matter, and it's not that efficient of a process. And then you run into the fact that people didn't really like them. And between all of those facts, they've kind of died on the vine. A compost burger. That's basically what it is. I mean, if you want to get technical, it's a burger where they pressed a bunch of shit together, and then they've tried to use seasonings to fake you into thinking it's meat. But it's not. All right, so what else is going on out there? Shutdown enters its fourth week. We mentioned that already. 800,000 employees still out of work. The Democrats can end this at any time they want to. The Republicans have offered a clear CR. This is 100% the Democrat shutdown. And we're calling it the Schumer shutdown. All right, so what else is happening? Well, today there was a security breach at the White House. A man crashed his car into the gate there. He was arrested after ramming his car into the White House security gate. That takes a lot of intelligence. A car. Do you really think they didn't think someone was going to try that? Oh, wait, they already have. The incident occurred during heightened alerts with no injuries reported, according to Fox News. Secret Service detained the driver, investigating motives and as possible. It's possible that this is in connection with protesting. X Reactions criticized security lapses, trending under White House breach. It sounds like the gate stopped the guy, and they got the guy, they arrested him, and nobody was hurt. Did it sound like somebody effed up? Sounds like everything went just fine, didn't it? The guy tried to ram the White House, the gate stopped him, the cops arrested him. Sounds like everything went perfect. whatever. Because it's Trump's administration, everything will get criticized. J.D. Pritzker, the governor prick of Illinois, rejects National Guard deployment. Trump said, yeah, you're a slob. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker rejected Trump's National Guard deployment on October 22nd amid border security disputes. Donald J. Trump called Pritzker a slob in response, escalating the feud. The rejection follows similar pushback from blue states. See, these places are absolute crime-ridden shitholes, and they don't want any law and order in there. They don't want anything to come in there and do anything. It sucks. And a federal judge, a liberal judge, has now blocked Trump's National Guard deployment in Oregon. And the decision came amid the Antifa-related violence in Portland. Oregon officials hailed it as a states' rights win. And of course, ex-posts are split on it. Again, Portland's a shithole. Trump's just trying to clean it up and get people to quit shooting people. You know, if Trump is allowed to come into places like Portland and Chicago, literally the first night they're there, people will live the rest of their life instead of being shot and killed. I mean, I can't believe this isn't glaringly simple to these people. Ted Kennedy's wife, Joan Kennedy, has now died at 89. She battled alcoholism and cancer. Tributes are pouring in. Let's see here. Texas has now deployed 200 National Guard troops to Illinois. They're supporting the Trump's immigration enforcement plan. Blue City sees 22 shootings, 4 murders in weekend feud with feds. Do you believe that shit? Yeah. It's Chicago for you. Trump deploys National Guard to Portland, and then, of course, they've halted that. Powerball jackpot has hit $273 million after big wins. National Symphony to open all shows with the national anthem. I like that. Okay, so there you go. That's our top 15 news stories around the country, and that's what's going on in the world. Oh yeah, if that was Obama building the ballroom, they'd all be in line already waiting to get in. Faithful, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing that gets me. They're all like, he's wasting all our money on a ballroom. It's like, all donations, he's buying it himself. This has nothing to do with it. This is not using a penny of taxpayer dollars. Oh. Jesus. Whatever. Alright, guys, is there anything else? I am going to be taking off. I actually have to do promos tonight. I never got a chance to do them the last couple days. So I'm going to, when I get off of here just right now, I'm going to dial into the station, and I've got to spend about an hour and a half or so putting together some promos for my show and sending them into the program director before I can go to bed tonight. So that's what I'm going to be working on here next in just a few minutes. And yes, my RLS is bad tonight. All right, anything else, guys? Last call for the chat room. I'm going to be signing off here in just a few minutes. And remember, Comet Lemon, you can still see it. You can look up and see where you can see it. It's still barely visible to the naked eye. All right, Heath. Well, I mean, I got a guy down here that gives me spot plus $3 or $4 a coin. But yes, let's talk. Baba Booey, Baba Booey, Baba Booey. Oh, that's funny. All right, everybody. I guess we'll call it. Live from North Fort Myers. This is Starship Studios, and we have been live tonight with the sights and sounds of Earth. And this is the channel Starship Adventures on YouTube. Please join us again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for another rundown of the news. And we're also gonna, I know we'll be talking quite a bit tomorrow night about this hurricane, about this tropical storm as it's sitting out there. And Melissa, as it's sitting out there and churning. We'll have a lot more to talk about. Well, Kat, my condolences if you just lost your grandma. That's what it sounds like. I'm dealing with that right now with my parents are all in that line now where I'm starting to lose them all. My grandparents are all gone. And now I'm losing parents and aunts and uncles at this point. Yeah. All right. There we go. All right, everybody. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good night, everybody. Signing off. My name's Ian. This is Starship Adventures, KO4EFS. Signing off from North Fort Myers. Have a good night, everybody. 7 3s. We'll see you tomorrow night.